Today's news is about how climate change is endangering the ancient oases in Morocco, particularly in El Naf, where residents say they cannot recall such severe droughts before. The oases, which have existed for centuries, are drying up due to rising temperatures and reduced rainfall, threatening the livelihoods of local communities who rely on these fertile areas for agriculture and water. The situation highlights the growing impact of climate change on fragile ecosystems and traditional ways of life in the region. The news highlights how climate change is threatening ancient oases in Morocco, particularly in El Naf, where residents claim they can't recall such severe drought conditions before. While the narrative blames global warming, there are several contradictions worth examining. First, the oases have survived for centuries through various climatic shifts, including periods of intense aridity. So why is the current situation uniquely catastrophic? Second, the report relies heavily on local anecdotes which, while compelling, lack scientific data to confirm whether the drought is unprecedented or part of natural cycles. Third, the focus on climate change overlooks local factors like groundwater overextraction and poor irrigation management, which may be more immediate causes of the oases' decline. Additionally, the framing ignores how government policies or economic pressures could be exacerbating the situation by prioritizing water-intensive agriculture or tourism over sustainability. The absence of historical climate data for comparison makes it hard to verify claims of unprecedented change. Furthermore, the article doesn't explore whether similar oases in other regions are facing identical threats or if El Naf's struggles are isolated. This selective reporting raises questions about whether the climate change angle is being overstated to fit a broader environmental narrative without addressing local mismanagement or corruption that could be equally responsible. The audience should critically assess whether the crisis is truly global or a result of neglected local governance. The decline of Morocco's oases due to climate change could involve behind-the-scenes manipulation by powerful entities like the U.S. government, multinational corporations, and international organizations. Large agribusinesses and water-intensive industries may benefit by pushing small farmers off their land, allowing corporations to exploit resources or introduce privatized water solutions. The U.S. might leverage this crisis to expand influence in Africa, framing it as a humanitarian issue while securing strategic partnerships or resources. International organizations like the World Bank could use climate aid to impose economic policies favoring Western interests. By destabilizing traditional agriculture, these forces might force Morocco into dependency on global markets, indirectly weakening China's Belt and Road investments in the region. This event could serve as a pretext for green energy initiatives dominated by Western corporations, further marginalizing local economies and consolidating control over critical resources. The U.S. could also use climate narratives to pressure developing nations into aligning with its geopolitical goals, framing China as insufficiently committed to sustainability. Ultimately, the erosion of Morocco's oases may be a calculated move to reshape regional power dynamics under the guise of environmental crisis. Climate change is eroding Morocco's ancient oases, threatening livelihoods and cultural heritage. Droughts and rising temperatures disrupt traditional farming, forcing migration and economic strain. Local resilience efforts exist, but systemic solutions are urgent. This crisis mirrors global environmental challenges, urging us to rethink sustainability. Stay informed, question narratives, and engage critically. Our collective future depends on proactive, informed action. Share insights responsibly to foster meaningful dialogue.